What's Trending Barbados. That's coming up later in the show as well. Right now, we're going to turn our attention now, though, to technology. Steve Fung is in the house. It's our first opportunity to welcome him to Morning Barbados for 2018. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Spending all that Bitcoin money, Steve.
Mr. Fung has been busy criticizing Apple.
Of course, as usual.
Isn't everybody, though?
Usual.
As usual.
Belle, you find that your phone is working a bit slower?
I find that you'll make me say this on national TV. My previous phone, which brand will remain unnamed.
Okay.
I can say that I am a convert, and I prefer the previous phone. It was doing some stuff that my Apple is actually kind of irritating me with now. However, I will say this for Apple. Takes really good photos and video, which Shane acknowledged this morning.
Yep, that video looked
Thank you very much.
crisp. Mr. Fung, the video was wonderful. I was like, wow, is this I mean, there are HD cameras, but to be compatible with, what we are offering here.
But Apple is in a lot of trouble, though, Steve. First, it was the batteries situation where, once the batteries start to get depleted. But now, in terms of what's happening in the news, Apple is being asked about young people and their exposure to phones and looking at developing technology around that. Why this is only Apple's responsibility, though, is beyond me.
Well, in the U.S., Apple has the largest market share, and they are a U.S. company, so they're the easiest target. And they do try their best to make themselves as visible in the market space. So if you are the biggest player in the space and you're putting yourself out there, you're going to be the largest target, especially through a lot of the incidents where you find young children being targeted by apps or actually mostly on the Apple platform. It being the most popular platform, that's where developers would focus their attention, whereas you find Android, not saying that Android is for more mature audiences, but it is a less populous marketplace in terms of paid apps. So you find a lot of kids will have addictions to these in-app purchases, which had came out actually a couple of years ago when they first started, so they actually had parental permissions. But I think it's the addiction they're referring to, which, as you said, is not fair to pin on Apple alone, because it's a technology addiction, and if you want to call it addiction, I guess.
But no, Steve, you're on the right track. They're actually right now trying to designate this as an actual disorder.
Yeah,
but what I want to hear, though, is what's the responsibility for the parents who put the device in the child's hand in the first place, Shane?
And yes. I'm in agreement with you, because realistically, they were saying the same thing about video games back in the day. When now video game is an e-sport, and you got people playing video games and making more money than, or as much money as regular professional athletes. So the reality is technology is just a coming trend, and you just need to acknowledge there always be those crazy lawmakers that try to get their mark in history by hitting something.
I'm not with you on referring to lawmakers as crazy, first of all.
Some crazy lawmakers, not all. But no, there are a lot, you find a lot of laws and stuff that are anti-technology based on the age of said senator or whatever is really going on.
Interesting. But video game disorder is no real thing.
I guess so. But all persons with addictive personalities is not necessarily the substance. You give them alcohol, you give them soap operas, you give them cigarettes, they're going to be addicted to each. I think that's necessarily a disorder in humans, just having addictive personalities and less to do with the tech itself.
All right, I want to get back to Apple because my phone too is frustrating me a bit.
Well, in regards to the phone, it's funny, Apple's excuse is cute. The reality is, and this is something I've been saying for years, every time a new iPhone comes out, the older one gets slower, all right? And it becomes
worse. So
you've
seen this trend for years.
Years, it becomes worse
now
in generation.
It's coming out
Americans
more public.
tend to be slow to notice. When you like something a lot, you tend to be slow to notice the flaws. But being on the other side of the fence in terms of the competition, you always acknowledge the slowdowns. Not to say that Samsung phones don't slow down or HTC. What happens is as the operating system on the Android end improves, like when they added the material design, which added multiple layers, the graphics chip inside of the phones struggle to keep up with a lot of the intensive features and flary effects that you'll see on the screen. So you experience slowdowns in that regard, but on the Android end, you can change your launcher to something a little less intensive or simpler. There's actually a launcher called Simple Launcher that uses very little system resources. So your phone maintains its speed or moves equally as fast. But on the Apple end, you can't do that, so you have to take what you get. So they're putting it as what Apple always does. They are always in control of the device. So they determine, well, hey, we're going to slow you down to give you equivalent battery. You have no say anymore.
Let's be fair for a minute, please, gentlemen. The car that you were driving in 1985 is not going to be as fast as the car that you probably just got off the lot in 2018. Fact of the matter is, and if you want it to be, you have to do major repairs on it and major upgrades, get your transmission changed, et cetera, et cetera. Not true?
Agreed, but if Ford was purposely slowing down your car in the perfect timing of the release of their new model, then that would seem a little bit odd, would it not? It just so happens, like I said, each update of the software happens with the new phone release, and it's not the case that the software itself is slowing down your phone. They have throttled back your CPU. So even if you bought a brand new iPhone 6 Plus with a brand new battery, your phone will still be slowed down. So the excuse makes no sense.
So what is the answer for the excuse of sorts?
Well, they have offered a $29 battery replacement package, which I assume they would have removed the throttles on the CPU. Because realistically, when you look at the benchmarks, this is something we've noticed for years. An iPhone 6, iPhone 7, the 6S, 7S, and the 8. The benchmarks are actually quite close on release. If you look at the release benchmarks, what they do is that they do the new benchmarks with the new release of the software. So the new version of the software is going to slow down the older phone to make the newer phone look faster. But if you look at the benchmarks when the iPhone 7S first came out, or 6S versus the 8, you see they're actually quite close. It's just as the software updates come out, they slow down the phone gradually. So you're actually getting a phone just as good. New camera technology, new little features with Siri. I mean, Apple phones are very good phones. I think they're the most detailed in terms of crafting. They spend a lot of detail into user experience, which is what Steve Jobs was all about, user experience and user interface. But when you get large companies, you get these practices and sales and stuff to get you to buy stuff, and usually the consumer stepped on a little bit. I'm
glad you mentioned the consumer, because human beings are so easy to manipulate, aren't we? And that's the truth. And the thing is, citing all the different measures that you said Apple has gone to, admitted to, in terms of manipulating the technology, one thing that the tech world has done so beautifully in terms of marketing and advertising is that they have sold technologies as lifestyle and lifestyle brands, and we get hooked. So a new one comes out, it's like getting a new outfit. So, oh wait, this new shoe is out, I have to get it. This new phone is out, and oh, look at the new case. Or you see what I'm saying? We are addicted and attracted to that aspect of the technology as well, and that can't be discounted. And you can't blame Apple for that. There's a whole other region of marketing and advertising that they manipulate us with.
Being fair and I'll give you a direct assault on Apple. I'm going to be fair and not told. People that tend to buy Apple phones tend to be like that. You don't find out with people with other types of phones.
That is not true, Steve. That is not true.
People that buy, you got to remember, Samsung is a company modeled after Apple. So those are the same types of people there, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But Samsung is not Android. The Android ecosystem is vast beyond Samsung. You will find buyers, even on this set right now, that make a decision to purchase an older phone because it has features that the newer phone did not have. Whereas you're not going to find it with the Apple person. The Apple person is the latest and the biggest one. They didn't even plan to produce as many iPhone 10s as they have now because it's meant to be an experimental model. But because in the perception of the buyer or the consumer, that is the best iPhone, I buy that.
And there's also the mentality that we cannot discount for people who feel like, I want to be the first one. I want to be the one among my friends to say I have it first. There's that human aspect as well. And
then there's also being fair to Apple. Other companies have cheated before. You've had Samsung, you've had OnePlus. These companies that have cheated on their scores and benchmarks and made their phones seem faster than they really are. So I would put that out there that Apple is not the only company that have cheated, and they've had their fair share of press back then. And also that, again, technology is a lifestyle product. The technology is all about making things more efficient, intelligent laziness. You work, you get things done with less effort. And realistically, I will admit that you're going to find the youth being more dependent on technology. Like for me, any conversions from feet to meters, I Google Assistant, calculator, I forget the
I don't know the last day, honestly, that I turned the pages of a dictionary or a phone book. Like I just go, okay, wait.
Google is your friend.
You understand?
Dependency on technology will occur. It's just how we use that to help us or if we use that to slow us down or pull us down. I learned just about everything I know about technology through
technology?
YouTube, you know,
right.
through watching that, experiment, doing stuff, sitting on in front of TV all the time. I didn't waste, or I wasn't watching idle stuff. I wasn't watching cat videos and stuff. I've been learning new stuff and then taking that and applying it and moving forward.
It's all about educating yourself using the technology. I think that is the important thing to use the technology to develop your mind and to develop yourself. Mm-hmm. So, looking back, I mean, we had a good 2017.
Yeah.
2018 is here now. Let's start with 2017, though. What are some of the major technological advancements or items, gadgets that really stood out in 2017?
To be honest, the whole concept of the bezel-less screen, that was the biggest trend in cell phones. Having the bezels, which are the black areas on the side of the screen that carries the display drivers, literally disappear. Samsung being the key runner with that, with the Note, sorry.
Is the Edge?
Yeah, the Galaxy S Edge. Right. But if you notice, all the phones now, you no longer see these black bars at the side. They tend to disappear more and more and more. So with your iPhone...
So I have some black bars here.
Yeah, with the Apple phones, you get your bezels top and bottom for the display drivers. But if you look at a Galaxy S8 or even the iPhone 10, the bars inside are very slim. So we call it a bezel-less design. HTC and all of the other manufacturers, OnePlus, they brought a phone in 2017, and then they brought another one just to get the bezels going to be in the trend. And so that was one of the biggest trends in that year. And then the notch, which you have in the iPhone 10. The Essential phone was the first phone to bring out that real full screen experience where they had no place to put the camera, so they did a little cutout there. But in terms of big trends, is I guess just the usual. I guess for me, 2018 is more exciting than 2017. For me, 2017 was a more of an extension of the tech advancements in 2016. I didn't see anything really that got me excited like what's happening right now at the CES show with Intel and AMD.
Well, tell us a bit about that.
If you're a computer guy, you know, for my best friend, we've got to fight in words over which processor is better, Intel or AMD. This is computer, you know, this is gaming. You know, the dominant market share in the computer or CPUs for PCs. So now you have an Intel chip with an AMD graphics card on it. It's a complete blasphemy.
Yeah, you have.
Listen, this is a point in this conversation where my eyes start to glaze over, and I know yours are too. And you go, okay.
It's the equivalent of
Steve just went over the technology hurdle for me.
It's the equivalent of having a chauffette with a KFC buffet in it. Two rival companies releasing, and they're both equally as powerful in their own respect, coming together to make a powerful piece of silicon that's gonna revolutionize laptops, small form factor computers. So you'll be able to get something, a computer with this size that can run VR, that can run the highest games, 4K video. So for computing, desktop computing, that was a quantum leap on a whole.
So desktop computing is going to the next level.
Yeah, and in 2017 you did get the release of Ryzen, which is AMD's new super-powered CPU, because they've been lagging behind Intel for a long time. It's kind of like the iPhone, Samsung story here again. But they just released a very powerful chip that is very cheap. So you'll be able to get a lot of high-end, like you have a lot of the filmmakers here, so a lot of the video editing that the machines or the workstations they'll have to spend thousands on, they can now build a lot cheaper with this new technology and be able to output better quality productions at a lower cost.
Cool, thank you, Steve. I want to offer some lifestyle advice coming out of this conversation this morning. If you have the brand new latest phone, I don't care which brand it is, if you have the newest phone, top of the line just came out and you haven't paid your light bill, there's some other issues that you need to deal with in terms of the choices you're making, okay? Think about that.
Yeah, you thought about paying your light bill when the light went off yesterday.
Pick any bill. I was just saying a bill. Yeah.
Any other bill but the light bill right now. Thanks again, Steve. We'll look to hear more from you about some cars not using gasoline and some electric vehicles in the rest of 2018.
Sounds good.
Yeah, 2018 is the year that we're in, and we're going to see a lot of technological advancements this year. 7:31 is our time, and it's time to find out what's trending. That's coming after the break.